If you need some support because your world seems to be crumbling all around you, stay tuned for this special interview in our Ask the Author series. Joining me today is Mitra Politi. He is the spiritual director and ceremony guide from Rhythmia Life Advancement Center. And he's got a new book that has just been released called Insights, Steps to Truth. And these pages are filled with such delicious wisdom, short chapters on things such as hope, forgiveness, self-love. And the spiritual wisdom in these pages, I believe, can help you navigate these turbulent times. So enjoy this interview with Mitra Politi. Mitra Politi, thank you so much for joining me for this special Ask the Author interview about your new book, Insights, Steps to Truth. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to talk about the book and to talk about the possibilities and the insights that this book is carrying.
Well, it's definitely happening at a time when we certainly all need it. And with all of the chaos in the world, the loss, the fear, the anxiety, I think the way that you've written in these short little chapters that actually go so deep is really beautiful. And I also know that this isn't just your opinion with some spiritual advice. Obviously, you're the spiritual director at Rhythmia, but you've been living this. You've been living these truths that have been revealed to you because this book came out of your own painful experience. Do you mind just giving us a little bit of that background? I think it will help people understand how you got inspired to write this.
Yes, of course. Well, my journey is around meditation and healing. Through really self-investigation for the last 25 years, really walking in the path of awakening and interacting with different modalities from the plant medicine, working with the Colombian healers through Chinese medicine and meditation. So I really embedded myself within the practice to bring more evolution to my life, to bring more evolution to other people through that. So as you say, I'm really living that what I'm teaching or what I'm transmitting. The book came as a self-practice to write for myself truths or understanding, insights in order to support myself through a crisis in my marriage. That ended up really roughly. So I will sit and I will write, and when I will need to get some strength, I will look at what I wrote and I will meditate with it or just create the clarity that I need in that moment. So it was a working book for me. After a year, I looked at, I said, okay, today I'm going to read all what I wrote. And I realized that there is really deep and important information in that book. And I said, okay, one day I will put it together into a book. And this is how this book got born. I never intended to write a book. So it's kind of part of the magic of my journey and the magic of life. When there is something that wants to find other people, it just somehow it finds a way.
That is the miracle and the magic of it, right?
Yeah.
Well, I think it's beautiful that it was for you first and foremost, but through time you realize that this could actually help people and inspire people. One of the things that I find really inspiring is all the work that you've done in this book around self-love. And I thought I would just share for people, just to give them a sense of how you write in Insights.
Yes, definitely.
In the chapter Hope and Trust, Mitra wrote, "The path to inner peace is found within me. The river to inner peace flows in self-love. I give thanks to the divine within me, even though it has yet to be revealed. I open to a new dialogue with spirit, even though I have not been given an answer. Even if this spring lies buried deep within me, may it resurface and overflow once again. Talk to me about that passage. Like, I feel like there's so much surrender in just knowing that you know that there's something there, and you're like, even if I don't have the answer, even if I don't know, I'm willing to let it resurface.
Yes, it's well, when everything is fine and we are in the right environment, that phenomenon of self-love is flowing and happen. But many times when we are facing a challenge, or the reality as we know it is passing through a trembling or a big change, and then somehow uh, we feel like, okay, it's been lost, no. um, what In that moment, it's good to connect back to the memory of that which we experience with self-love, or with connection with the source again, and to come back into trust, to come back into faith, and to start to invest in the dialogue between us and the self-love, between us and the source. And as the dialogue is continuing, that is coming up back to the surface. So that inner dialogue, um, with the sense of wholeness, with the sense of peace, with the sense of connection to life, to nature, it's all embedded in self-love. And when we are taking care of ourselves, is also another aspect of self-love. So while we are renewing this inner dialogue, we are refreshing the inner love. Yeah? And then when the dialogue is there, sooner or later it will surface back. Yeah, it will surface back. So it doesn't matter what is the amount of self-love that we have, even if it's a handful only. Once we start to have the dialogue with it, once we invest in it back, it starts to grow. It starts to multiply.
Hmm. And would you recommend that is meditation like your number one go-to for having that inner dialogue, which, for some people it may be a monologue to start. It may be just all the chatter and the crying out for help before you start to receive, right?
Yes, yes. Definitely, meditation is a very big tool for me to move away, to strip the distractions. What is taking my attention into the thought, or taking my attention into what happened, and creating that environment with meditation, I find that is very helpful. Yeah, and once the environment is there, it's easier for us to do the inner dialogue. When we are still chasing after, looking for a fast solution, we are in the chase. So, but it could be many other things rather than meditation. It could be dancing and working in the garden, could be a prayer, could be plant medicine, could be a lot of form. What is important is how I do create that healthy environment for me to reconnect back to myself. And through that connection, the dialogue can start.
I love that. There are so many ways that we can reconnect. And I love that one of the things that you've been sharing through your book tour and bringing this work to a wider audience is a new perspective on how to look at freedom. You say that both the free bird and the caged bird exist in the same world. I really would love for you to explore this and unpack this a little bit, because for so many of us in lockdown, like where I am in France, we have a curfew,
Mm.
6 p.m. to 6 a.m. And
Oh, wow.
it's gone on for so long that the sense of freedom uh, isn't there anymore. But give me some more insights on what you say about freedom and being the caged bird and the free bird?
Yes, it's well, freedom is a state of mind. First of all, it's something that is beyond the circumstances. It's the inner atmosphere that we are living within. Yeah, what is the inner climate that we are cultivating, and so life could be a nightmare for one person, and could be a bliss for another, and they can live in the same house. Yeah, what what is the difference? The difference is the inner space. And as we are reconnecting to a sense of purity inside, we are connecting to the source within ourselves, to our being, the one that is free, the one that is without any titles. Um, then we are revealing our inner freedom that is beyond the circumstances, beyond life circumstances. It's it cannot be given to us. Yeah, freedom cannot be given to us. Yeah, on a deeper sense of freedom, but it's something that we can claim within ourselves, and this is the beauty of it. Because once we find that inner freedom, nobody can take it away from us. Yeah, and for that, of course, the practice is can come in, but the important thing is to have that glimpse of that freedom, to have that glimpse, to know that we can that it's there inside of us, and we can reveal it more and more and more and more until we will be free. Now, many times there is the process of unshedding what is disturbing our freedom. It's a bigger package, you know, and whether it's some of our emotional attachment, whether it's some stories, some negativity that they are there that occupy our inner sky and our climate. So it's always that process of finding our freedom. I will divide it for two main things. One is to reconnect to the source of our being, and second is to unshed what is not necessary, what doesn't serve us anymore in our life. And it could be a lot of different little things or big things.
Well, unlearning and shedding the things that are not really us. I definitely have experienced a rapid letting go with the help of sacred ceremonies and plant medicine. And I know that you obviously offer a whole range of spiritual tools, including meditation and including plant medicine. I'm curious to know, how did you come to the plant medicine path?
Well, it's as part of my my self healing process. I went and I got an invitation to go to Colombia to meet a curandero, a grandfather, to receive a certain healing. When I went there and I saw how they are working and how profound the work is, I understood that I would like to study the way that they are healing, you know. And that was unfolding a beautiful journey, going into the jungle and studying how the indigenous of this region, how they were coming into healing and what they understand how to heal oneself. And it's a lot about reconnecting back to nature, and um, and reconnecting back to the design of life. So life itself have a certain design, you know. This phenomena that we call life have a certain design, and for us as humans, we are cultivating a lot of, we are absorbing a lot of stuff that is out of that design. Yeah. Uh, what the work with the plant medicine is doing is cleaning the person from what is not serving you. Yeah, really cleaning, sometimes in a strong way, But in the same times, once the oneself is open, then the design of life starts to come. The design of life, nature is always in harmony. Nature is always in prosperity. Nature is always in tune. Nature is always carrying a frequency of vitality. Yeah. So as we are coming closer to that design of life, we're coming closer to all of these aspects which I just mentioned, and they are coming in. Yeah. So the healing is happening on a very primary level and very basic level, and then it starts to have ripple to our personality, to our story, to how we perceive life, to how we perceive this human experience. Yeah. The the strongest thing with this method is to renew our connection to life, renew our connection to the creation and to nature. And then the healing is something that is unfolding.
Hmm. I wonder if you could also talk a little bit about forgiveness, because what I've seen in some of my plant medicine ceremonies with principally with ayahuasca is I got this like bigger perspective. Like because my ego wasn't activated, I could see situations and people from a 360 kind of global view, and I was able to just let go of resentment or anger or whatever. So I wonder what you could say about forgiveness, whether it's through plant medicine or the work that you share in the book. How can we learn to let go of the hurts from the past, whether it's abandonment or abuse? Um, what do you say?
Yes, this first we need to understand this phenomenon of forgiveness. Forgiveness, that phenomena is like to inject love into the wound. Yeah, and sometimes a lot of the people first need to realize that there is a wound. But once this is happening and we realize that we are facing something that is hard, something that is creating inflammation inside of us, then one of the keys to heal that is through forgiveness. And forgiveness is needs to happen on three different levels. The first level is the forgiveness between me and myself. Yeah, maybe maybe I'm not happy in the way that I am performing in life. Maybe I'm carrying a self-judgment or criticism around myself, and so on and so on. Then the second one, or the second step of forgiveness, is forgiveness between me and the environment, me and other humans. Uh, this unfairness or this injustice has been done to me, um, or something happened in my past, so it's between me and the other. And then there is a forgiveness between oneself to creation, yeah, between oneself to God. A lot of people have um, a list, yeah, and they say, okay, now I'm 30 years old. Life's supposed to give me a good marriage, a good work, and I'm supposed to have this and this and this and that. Once they don't get it, or once it's not unfolding yet in their life, they have some complaint or frustration toward life, toward creation, toward God. So there is also a forgiveness that needs to be done on that level. Yeah. Um, but in the essence of forgiveness, forgiveness is the key. Is the key to come back into wholeness. Whether the unfairness has been done to us within ourselves, within the other, or by misunderstanding of creation and life, um, how we can access it, how we can access it in a way that through accessing it, we start to heal it, we start to let go of it. Yeah. Um, and forgiveness is a key. Forgiveness is a really beautiful key. And just in when that is being surfaced, it doesn't matter which story it is, when that is being surfaced and I feel it, it's within my story, It's important to stop. It's important to stop, to see it, and then to send forgiveness there, to that inner conflict, to that wound, yeah, to that story. And when we do that, then we can see how things start to transform regarding that specific topic, how they are being transformed, which means that they are being clean, evolve, and we start the process of going back into wholeness with that. Yeah. Um, in For the Tibetan Buddhism, they use compassion. It's a main tool among this beautiful teaching that they are having. They are emphasizing so much compassion. Uh, Why is that? Yeah. Compassion is another form of forgiveness. It is a tool to come back into wholeness. It is a tool for us not to be separate from life. Many times, what we got hurt from keeps us separate, keeps us in one unit, a hurted um, concept. Yeah. And when we are practicing forgiveness, when we are practicing compassion, we are sooner or later come back into wholeness, back to be one with life.
Mm. Beautiful. Such wisdom. I love that we have it in these short little bites in the book, Insights, and that I'm glad that Rhythmia is open and accepting people to come for these amazing week-long experiences. I wonder, since we are at the beginning of 2021, what spiritual wisdom would you share with us to help us all navigate on this journey of awakening and staying true to ourselves and coming back into wholeness and oneness despite what's going on in the world?
It's to remember. Yeah, it's to remember, and what we are remembering this particle of creation that is inside of us. To remember that God is inside of us. To reconnect to it, to create a space, to create the right environment for this connection to happen. Um, and when we do that, everything else will unfold. And when we don't do that, everything else will unfold. Yeah. So it's like to aim for the deepest seed of goodness inside of us. Yeah. And to remember it. Yeah. To remember it, because there is so much distraction. There is so much reasons for us to forget. Yeah, simply to forget. We are getting lost in a thought, we are getting lost in what we need to do, and to stop and to remember, oh, okay, there is all of this goodness inside of me. There is a sense of a life force. There is a sense of creation inside of me. And as we do that, very interesting phenomena of healing, of goodness, of connection is unfolding itself. Mm-hmm.
I love it. Remember to remember. There are seeds of your God consciousness within. So when the turbulence comes, use that as a sign to remember to remember. Beautiful.
Completely.
Well, Mitra, I thank you so much for spending a little time to share your wisdom and your presence, and congratulations on bringing out such an amazing book to the world. I know that people will be blessed by getting a copy of Insights, Steps to Truth. You can also visit insights-thebook.com for some more goodness. And of course, you can check him out at Rhythmia Life Advancement Center in Costa Rica. So you can go and hear those cicadas and iguanas for yourself, and quite possibly experience plant medicine. So once again,
thank you so much for hosting me and for sharing. I appreciate it, and I wish for you to have a beautiful, beautiful year. Mm-hmm. That all your heart wishes will unfold themselves in an easy, smooth, beautiful way.
I receive that. Thank you so much. Take good care.